The shadow that remembers my movements. The first mistake was noticing the delay. It happened one evening while I was washing dishes, the kitchen light harsh and yellow above me. I reached for the sponge, and out of the corner of my eye, my shadow on the wall lagged behind, just slightly, like it had tripped. I stopped. My shadow stopped too. I laughed it off. Light bulbs flicker. Eyes get tired. Shadows aren't precise things. The second mistake was testing it. I raised my arm slowly. My shadow followed. Then I lowered it. The shadow hesitated, only for a fraction of a second before lowering its arm as well. I frowned and waved my hand sharply. The shadow copied me, but the movement felt practiced, too smooth, like it had been rehearsed. That night, I dreamed I was standing in a room with no light source, yet my shadow stretched endlessly across the floor, moving even when I stood still. I woke up unsettled. Over the next few days, the delay grew more noticeable. A blink behind, a step late, a tilt of the head that came after I'd already corrected my posture. I told myself it was nothing, until my shadow moved when I didn't. I was standing in the hallway, scrolling on my phone, when I saw it shift, its head turning slightly, as if listening. I froze. The shadow slowly returned to its proper position, flattening itself against the wall. My heart pounded. That evening, I stood under a lamp and performed small, deliberate motions. The shadow mirrored me perfectly, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it was remembering, not reacting, as if it were taking notes. Then came the anticipation. I reached for a glass, and my shadow's hand was already there, not raised, waiting. I dropped the glass. It shattered on the floor, and for a split second, my shadow bent down to pick it up before I did. I backed away, breath shallow. The shadow corrected itself, snapping back into place like it had made a mistake. I turned off the lights. Darkness swallowed the room, and for the first time in weeks, I felt relief. Then I heard footsteps. Soft, careful, familiar. They came from within the darkness, matching my own gait exactly, but I wasn't moving. I held my breath. The footsteps stopped. Something shifted. When the lights came back on, my shadow stood perfectly still. Too still. I avoided bright rooms after that. I lived in half-light, letting shadows blur and soften. But the shadow didn't fade like the others. It stayed crisp, defined, confident. One night, the power went out. The apartment plunged into darkness so complete I couldn't see my own hands. I stood frozen, listening to the hum of the city die away. Then I heard it. Movement. Not footsteps this time, but the sound of fabric stretching, joints bending, a body learning how to exist. I whispered, "Stop." The sound stopped, then resumed. Closer. I fumbled for my phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the dark. My shadow stood in front of me, detached, upright. It wasn't flat anymore. It had depth, shape, weight. Its movements were no longer delayed. They were exact. I realized then that the shadow wasn't copying me. It was rehearsing, practicing for the moment I wasn't needed. The light flickered. The shadow stepped forward. And when the light finally went out, the footsteps continued, walking away from where I stood, wearing my movements perfectly, while I remained behind, motionless, casting no shadow at all.